Hello everyone, welcome to a Gran Turismo 7 opinion piece. It's been a wee while since we've done one of these, and in this one we're going to look at a somewhat controversial subject, or maybe more to the point, my kind of point of view on it's going to be a little bit controversial. We're going to look at this kind of notion that when you accidentally punt another driver off or knock them off the track, do you wait for them to get back on the track and get back in front of you, or do you drive on and carry on with your own race? Now, this is a sort of notion that gets promoted by, to be fair, some of the other streamers out there. I'm a streamer myself, but yeah, I kind of sort of notice it from, you know, some of the bigger streamers out there who kind of promote this kind of sportsmanship value that if you accidentally punt somebody off the track, and we're all talking about accidents here, then you basically sacrifice your own race, wait on them getting back on the track and let them get back past you. Now, we're not talking about just kind of maybe squeezing somebody a little bit wide and they lose a second and they end up just behind you, or you make a slight contact with someone and they kind of they end up behind you, you know, not letting them back past. I'm talking about, you know, if you kind of mess up big time, you know, you knock them off the track, miss your braking point and they lose 10-15 seconds, do you wait to kind of, you know, totally ruin your own race at the same time to let them get back in front of you? And we're going to have an example here from a friend of the channel. It's RA Shadow. Do check him out on YouTube. He does early bird Gran Turismo streams if you're looking for something to have your morning coffee with, and he also does some ACC stuff. Very nice guy, good to listen to, quite knowledgeable about the game, and yeah, do go and check him out, give him a little bit of support on YouTube, try and get him towards that 1,000 subscriber mark if you can. So Andy has messed up going down into the chicane in the Mazda Rose Dirt touring cars, and he's held his hands up, he waits at the side of the track, and there's the car that he has accidentally spun round carrying on with their race. Now, Andy is a total gentleman. If you ever watch him on YouTube, you'll see straight away he seems to be an incredibly nice guy, and I pop into his streams quite often and I tell him, you know, I don't wait for drivers if I spin them off because I have my reasons for not doing it. Now, if we look at this incident again here, the two drivers in front go side by side into the chicane. They actually have a little bit of contact, which kind of slows down the Marlboro liveried Roadster touring car, and Andy then goes into the side. I don't think he missed his braking point. I think he maybe misread the situation a little bit, and then the circumstances of the other car kind of slowing down a little bit more suddenly than he expected, making him into the side of it. So there you go, waits at the track, you know, and he's now at the back of the grid. He started up at the front P3 and he's now P13. His race is over, but so is the other driver. So, whilst there's some Mazda mayhem going on in the background, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I don't think you should wait for another driver if you accidentally punt them off. And it's going to cost you 10-15 seconds and mean completely sacrificing your race to wait on them and let them get back past. So, brace yourself here, fire your seatbelts on. This one might get a little bit controversial and it might get a little bit ranty as well. You have been warned. So reason number 1 is going to be, it was an accident. Accidents happen. They happen in real motorsport, they happen in virtual motorsport. It's part of the game, it's part of the sport. If you have accidentally, and you hand on heart know that you did not mean to do what you did, it was just a misjudgment, then, you know, I don't see too much problem with carrying on. Now, if you can find me an example in real motorsport of a driver accidentally spinning another driver round and parking up at the side of the road and waiting on that driver to get back past them, I will do the same every single time I touch another driver in Gran Turismo 7. But I think you'll be very hard pushed to find a real world example of this happening. Now, you may well go, but Wombo, real world motorsport has stewards and it has penalty systems, and that is very true. And we did at one point have a penalty system within Gran Turismo that would have prevented this behaviour, certainly penalised drivers for accidentally punting a driver off. But drivers and players and people moaned too much about when the penalty system was like that, about accidentally or maybe occasionally picking up the odd BS penalty, because to have an algorithm in the game that will catch every single punt and bump off the track, you're going to have to accept that sometimes the algorithm is going to get it wrong and you're accidentally going to get blamed for an incident and pick up a penalty. That's what happened in Gran Turismo 7. We had penalty systems that would penalise drivers for pretty much, or certainly 95% of drivers getting knocked off the track, but the penalty system would also sometimes get it wrong. If you were a genuinely clean driver, you didn't fall victim to a bad penalty very, very often, but you did gain many times from that penalty system, but people only ever seen the time that they were wronged rather than the 100 times that they maybe have gained from such a penalty system. So the reason we don't have a penalty system that will penalise drivers for either deliberate punts or accidental punts is because people moaned so much that PD essentially removed that kind of penalty system from the game, and yeah, we're now left with basically just having to deal with the driving the way that it is. So that's reason number one. It's an accident. If you know, accidents happen. They're going to happen in the game. They're going to happen in real life. And you know, this is not a real, you know, like, fair enough, it's not real world, the game, but waiting on a driver that you've punted off is not a real world thing either. So yeah, accidents happen. That is point number one. Moving on to point number two, which is kind of in conjunction with point number one, but let's call point number two swings and roundabouts, because if you're a careful, considerate, safe driver, then the number of times that you are going to be the perpetrator in an incident and ruin somebody else's race is going to pale in comparison to the number of times that you will be the victim of somebody else's mistake. So yeah, I'm certainly not infallible as a driver, but I do think that I kind of, majority of the time, read the situation correctly, slow down, don't make too many mistakes. I don't ruin people's races very often, I must say, but on the odd occasion when it does happen, because as I said, I'm not infallible, I don't feel too guilty about driving on. I'm sorry, I will apologise in the post-race chat, but unfortunately I'm not waiting 10-15 seconds. I'm not sacrificing my race because I cocked up, because, you know, at the end of the day, I've had my race ruined 100 times for that one time that I've ruined somebody else's race. And yeah, how often do I actually see somebody waiting on me? Not very often. So yeah, let's call point number two swings and roundabouts. If you're a clean driver, considerate driver, then you are far more likely to be a victim of somebody's mistake and have your race ruined than you are ruining other people's races. So yeah, don't feel too guilty. Again, accidents happen, it's racing, swings and roundabouts. That's point number two. Now, as I said, I haven't seen too many instances where drivers do wait on me, but on the occasion when they do, and this is going to be the most controversial moment of the video, how do you think the driver whose race you've just ruined actually feels when they see you stopping at the side of the track and waiting on them? You think they're actually kind of sitting there going, oh, look at that virtuous sportsmanship there, they're such a nice driver, I'm so glad I got to race against that person? Nope. In the heat of the moment, that driver thinks you are all the beep beep beepy beep 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 beeps under the sun. They do not thank you for sitting there waiting on the track for them to get back past them, so you can then have them back behind you. The last thing that driver wants is you back behind them if you're crappy driving, in danger and punting them off again. They want you up the track, away and take your crappy driving and ruin somebody else's race. You know what? I don't want you behind me. It's the last thing I want. See, at the end of the race, come into the post-race chat, apologise, I'll cool down by that point, and I will happily accept your apology. But at that moment in time, when you've just ruined my race, at the beginning in lap 1, and I'm now 15 seconds behind the pack, the last thing I want is you anywhere near me on the track. You can take your virtue signaling and your moral high ground and you can stick it where the sun don't shine. At that point, I'm raging, I'm angry, my race is over. I would much rather you were nowhere near me on the track. Oh God, I can just see the subscriber count going down as people are listening to this now. Clickety click click click, hitting that dislike button. This could be the dislike record for my channel, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm kind of trying to be a little bit funny with the previous point, but I'm actually being kind of serious at the same time as well. So yeah, that is my reasons for not waiting on a driver if I accidentally punt them off. 1, accidents happen. 2, swings and roundabouts, I'm the victim far more than the perpetrator. And 3, the last thing I actually want if you do punt me off is you anywhere near me on the track. I'm raging at that point. I'm an angry Scotsman. I don't want you near me in the track. So yeah, that is going to be it for this video. Let me know what you think. Controversial, I'm sure you will agree. Do you wait on other drivers, or have I maybe changed your mind? Are you seeing things in a different light having listened to this video? Or have you just unsubscribed because you're thinking Womble's just not the nice guy I thought he was? I'm a nice guy, but I've also got that racing driver mentality, so, you know, we can be quite hot-headed when we're behind the wheel. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm off to go and watch all the subscriber count go down, all the dislikes come in for this video. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I shall catch you on the next one. Goodbye now.